What's up everybody, welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. We are here in Vanuatu and we've been cruising here for nearly a couple of months now, and we have felt so safe. And one of the reasons is that the people are just so friendly here, but also they don't really have guns. Next, we are sailing to the Solomon Islands and then Papua New Guinea, and then after that, remote Indonesia. So here on, there is a risk of piracy. And we're gonna step up our game with a bit of a piracy plan. There's two things that we need to be aware of. One is when we're sailing in a fishing boat that's just trying to take advantage of the situation, approaching us at sea, and the other is what can happen in some of the anchorages when we're there. So this is what we're going to have out at all times. Most of the stuff happens at night, so we've got two spotlights. It's pretty uncomfortable and difficult to approach a boat when they've got a big spotlight right in their eyes. A couple of machetes here and a baseball bat, and we've got two spare guns which we can just load quickly. This is all close quarters stuff. This is if they're on the boat. No one is welcome on the boat unless we've invited them. We've also got these flare guns. We were told a while back to have these out because if you shoot one of those into the bottom of someone's boat, it'll burn so hot that it'll just burn a hole straight through their boat. Also gives off warnings at the same time to other boats in the area. We obviously don't want to get into a physical altercation with anyone, but if it comes to it and they're endangering our lives, this stuff's coming out. And there's three guys here that are willing to use these things, and Britt, who's holding the camera, I'd rather have her hidden away. The other really good line of defense that we have are the two dogs, and they bark like crazy when anyone comes up to us. So at anchor, I've never seen anyone get close to the boat without them waking up. They sometimes sleep inside, so now on they sleep outside. There's nice comfortable couches out there. And again, anyone coming near the boat, these guys go crazy. We've also hidden our passports and some real valuable stuff to us. If they come on with guns, we're basically just gonna let them have whatever they want. It's not worth getting into a gunfight when we've only got knives and spare guns. But the reason we're taking all of this precaution is there has been several incidents in Solomon Islands and Papua New Guinea. Just about a month ago, a French guy on his boat was murdered in Papua New Guinea, and they sank his boat. The two guys that did it actually got caught. I didn't hear what happened to them, but it is happening. The areas that we want to go to have less to no reports of that kind of stuff. But even in the Solomons, there's been several reports of drunk locals helping themselves onto people's boats. And for us, that's a massive no-no. And the dogs should take care of that first stage of that on their own.
I've got some friends, they also got like a YouTube channel like Colin, they're sailing around the world. And then they posted not long ago, like 2 weeks ago, that they went through some bad experience with piracy and things in Solomon Islands. So I texted them, asked for some more information. And they said that they kind of like got attacked by a boat, fishing boat. And then they were really drunk, and then they were trying to get on their boat and then started like telling them off. They couldn't understand properly what they were saying, but they realized that they were trying to steal and then try to get on their boat. But they didn't have guns and anything, but they were like drunk people. And then meanwhile they were there sailing, they met a lot of people who was also sailing that got like their dinghy were stolen. They got like gallons, like fishing rods stolen. So apparently it's not a very friendly place, and you have to watch out.
We're only spending a few days in the Solomon Islands as we sort of cruise through, but Papua New Guinea is our main next destination, and there's areas of Papua New Guinea that are literally lawless. There are no police and no laws. But I think the beauty of these countries and the areas that we are going to go to, I think it's worth stopping. I feel okay about it, so let's go. Vanuatu to Solomon Islands. Let's do this!
There have been two areas where we felt the need to take extra precaution against piracy. The first was when we sailed to Venezuela, but ended up not seeing anything at all. The second was sailing up the coast of Nicaragua, where a couple had just been boarded, tied up, and had everything stolen, including the sails and the dinghy. I have to admit, I was a little nervous, but as the captain, my job is to keep a level head and make sure we are all aware and comfortable with the risk we're about to take, which we all were, so off we went.
What I was saying about the charts being pretty bad, we're coming out of the bay here and there's literally an island marked on the chart right here, and there's nothing. It's just deep, deep water. We've been around it twice now. Pirate!
We had 1,200 miles to go to get to Papua New Guinea, so as mentioned, we were possibly going to take 1 or 2 stops in the Solomons to break up the trip, if it felt like it was safe enough. We had a rough waypoint at around 300 miles, which we were hoping to do in around 2 days if the wind kept up, and we were off to a good start.
Amazing! 7.6 knots. That's fish speed. Oh yeah. This is gonna break. It's gonna catch itself. I don't know. Skipjack. Skipjack by the looks of it. Oh boy.
We released the skipjack, which aren't very good eating in my opinion, but we were sailing along at a beautiful pace. As we get closer and closer to the equator, the wind will slowly begin dying, and we will start to experience more thunderstorms, which, having been struck twice by lightning already, was a true concern of ours, as you can imagine. So we were savouring moments like this, when Mother Nature is cooperating and pushing us gently towards our destination without having to burn a single drop of fuel. We are completely self-sustainable when sailing along like this, with our 3 kilowatt of solar charging our lithium batteries, which runs all of our navigation equipment and even the water maker through our inverter. We don't need a generator on board, we just have a small portable Honda for emergencies, and a big alternator on one of the engines which can charge the batteries at 150 amps if we're not getting enough sun. It is pretty rewarding knowing that we have travelled around 40,000 miles around the world, probably only filling up with fuel a total of 4 times in 7 years. But as I said, things were about to change up ahead.
Can you believe it? They stink. Flying fish just came flying into the cockpit.
Smell from here.
No pirates yet. We're on the lookout for them though. No, it's been mellow. We're at wing on wing right now. Just cruising along at 6-7 knots. 7.2. Nothing to report. No fish caught. No one seasick. No pirates. But there are some storms coming. So we might have changed the plan to just try get straight to Papua New Guinea. So that could be happening, but we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, pretty uneventful trip so far, which is good. That's a good thing.
We were still on pirate alert though, and I had to make sure I was in prime condition should we have an unexpected boarding. But hopefully pirates don't go to work in the rain, because the tropical conditions that we were not looking forward to began to fall upon us.
So it's day 3 of our crossing to Papua New Guinea. Solomon Islands is right there. It's only 2 miles that way, but we can't see it. So much rain. We've just been bombarded by these, they're not really squally, they're just rainstorms. But just hooked up a big fish there and just lost it. Pedro's still going on there. But yeah, it's still been pretty uneventful. Nothing really to report.
No pressure. It's only been 20 days since our last fish. We broke our dry streak. Nice.
Cream cheese sushi.
Just bleeding it out immediately. Tastes a lot better like that. It's gonna feed us for a while, for tonight.
Yeah, the boys.
Say green cheese! Sushi, baby!
So although a rainy day on a boat might be a bit of a downer, it's a great excuse to get up and go clean your toilet.
Even though we have a water maker, we monitor our water consumption very closely on Parlay. The water maker not only uses 1,000 watt of power, but it also puts wear and tear on the unit itself. So we don't throw water around willy-nilly, especially when we are low on solar power from the sun. So when it rains, we collect the water to do little boat jobs like cleaning the bathrooms or doing big loads of dishes. We used to actually catch the water off the coach roof and run a hose into the water tank but we found that the water was often quite dirty and salty, even if we let the water drain overboard before sending it into the tank. So now we just use what we collect in the buckets for boat jobs, but apparently even that can have unexpected issues.
Craziest thing happened last night. I was sleeping and Jamie was on watch, and I think the headsail backwinded and the sheet came back this way and it picked up the edge of this bucket, and it's got to be 10 gallons at least, and it sent the whole bucket down our hatch, and all of that water just ended up everywhere. It's this one here. So we just woke up to literally a waterfall coming down our hatch, and then the sheet went tight, and it's lucky that it didn't rip the hatch off. So not the best way to wake up. We're trying to dry everything, and just by some miracle it's been sunny this morning. Big squall over there coming though. I don't know how long it's going to take to dry those mattresses. They are soaked. It's just a sponge. So luckily we got a spare cabin.
I honestly got the fright of my life. Waking up to a bucket of cold water being poured all over you in the pitch dark at 2 in the morning is not how I like to be woken up, especially after a watch.
Now it's starting raining.
Just can't win. You just can't win.
Now it's raining, so we've got everything inside. We've got the fans on. Super humid environment, so not ideal, but we will make it work.
You would have a hard time convincing me that a flybridge is not the way to go on a catamaran, mainly because the visibility in all directions is second to none. But one thing we are definitely missing are some clears around the hardtop. When it rains like this, we are completely exposed to the elements, and it's at times like this that an internal helm does seem like a good idea. We do actually have a nav station down below, but the visibility is horrible and there is no window to see up at the sails, so we pretty much never use it. When it's raining, Lindo immediately hits up the couch downstairs, but McFly refuses to leave my side, so I do my best to keep him comfortable. He's truly man's best friend. The following morning, the rain had stopped and we could actually finally see Solomon Islands right beside us. I often use an app called No Foreign Land, which is an app for cruisers updated by cruisers and contains a ton of useful information about anchorages and landmarks around the world. We were ready for a break, so I searched for a safe place to anchor and came across a little place called Lola Island, which was cruiser friendly and had great reviews from fellow sailors. It looked absolutely beautiful, with palm trees and white sandy beaches lining the entire coastline. We were getting excited about taking a well-deserved rest after a pretty tough passage, and there was also some mention of surf in the area, so it was a no-brainer after that. The only problem was that the anchorage in front of Zipolo Habu Resort was completely surrounded by coral reefs, and there was no mention of how to actually get into the anchorage. The resort wasn't answering their phone, so we just had to find out for ourselves.
We've pulled into that's a place called Lola Island, and we've just passed this insane looking surf spot, and it's just this right-hander, but this whole lagoon is protected by this reef, so we're going to see if we can get across the reef. I think it looks a bit deeper over there.
We followed along the reef looking for a safe passage that would be deep enough for us to get over it. We had just come off high tide, so if we were going to attempt to cross the reef, it had to be right now. It was hard to see the depths from the boat, so Pedro offered to check out what looked like a deeper patch of water into the lagoon.
Let's go, the tide's dropping. Yeah. We're here. We got to get into here, and it just says green reef, which is what it is. So we want to jump on the back of this island here. That's why we got Pedro in the water. If it's okay to where he is now, then I think we can do it. All 9 feet.
So with Pedro guiding us in, we inched our way over the reef with hardly any water under our keels. I knew it was possible to get in from the reviews on No Foreign Land, but this did seem a little sketchy, I must admit. We were hundreds of miles away from any shipyard or repair facility. But with Pedro assuring us we could make it, we continued to cross the reef. I trusted Pedro with my life savings because he has enough experience at sea to know if it was too dangerous or not, but it was close nonetheless.
You were kind of like this far away from the ground. Serious? Yeah. But I knew it was safe because you say, measure yourself. If you can stand up, it's fine. There's one more over here we gotta do. Okay.
We had 2 more similar reefs to get over before we were into the lagoon, and with the tide dropping, we had to act fast. We raced over to the edge of the lagoon and got Pedro to jump in again to investigate what was below the surface.
I think we could make it. Okay, you wanna have a look? Yeah. Look how shallow this looks. Oh no, this is too shallow.
A lot of boomies. Like this is a boomy. I'm standing here now. I don't think so. I don't know if I trust, man.
It was a no-go in this spot, but we weren't going to give up that easy.
Try and anchor on the back side of this. There's one more reef here. If we can get over that, we're in to the lagoon.
Sketchy.
Little Pe's gonna save the day again. And that one's gonna be a challenge.
Filed under things I could never do.
I would go there. Too shallow. Just anchor over here, which is okay, but it's going to be rolly tomorrow because the wind shifts.
We eventually had to give up and dropped our anchor in the middle of the lagoon on the more exposed side of the island. I took the dinghy to go talk to the owners of the resort, but they strongly advised that we anchor in front of the resort.
Okay, we're going to move. I just spoke to the owners of this little resort here, and they said this isn't a good place to anchor because there's a village over there and the locals can get drunk and come harass the yachties if they're not right in front of the resort. So we're going to give this one more go. I've just snorkeled all through there. We've got about this much water, which is about 5 feet. We draw 4.3, so I think we can get through. Also, just found out there's crocodiles here. So we've just been swimming around, and on the bar top there is a massive crocodile skull. So that's something we didn't have to deal with in Fiji or Vanuatu. Well, some parts. Okay, this is getting shallow. I've got to concentrate. I've left a life jacket here and a life jacket there as my marks to go to get the things back.
So after being in the water myself and putting down 2 markers for the exact path we had to take, I motored through the shallows knowing it was going to be close, but that we would be okay. It was also a sandy bottom, so I knew it wouldn't be the end of the world if we had touched. But as mentioned, the tide was on its way out, so it was now or never. The owners of the resort had a deadly serious look in their eyes when they said to be very careful of the locals, and I sensed that it would be more serious than just drunk locals being annoying. This was, after all, pirate territory, and the tide had already dropped too far for us to get back over the original reef we had come over. So with a sense of urgency, I cruised over the shallows in an attempt to find the safety of the resort and their security team. This was officially the shallowest place I've ever taken Parlay.
We did it. I don't know how we didn't actually touch. Put Pedro in the water again. Taking one for the team. But we're through. Now we can anchor in front of the resort and feel safe. Love it.
It was less than this. You see on the video. I swear to God. You were f***ing hitting the grass. Like, I swear to God. You see on the videos.
Really?
Yeah. And then you passed through some boomies that it was like perfectly like how far apart you were, because the rest you would have hit it. I swear to God, like completely.
I believe it.
You see, I swear.
Pedro's not impressed.
Look, this is the ground. You're going like this, and then there was boomies like this, like here.
Serious?
And I couldn't say stop anymore. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, thanks God.
Living on the edge.
This is Colin style 100%.
Listen, it's about 3/4 tide. So if we had run aground, I knew I had a bit more tide to get me off. So it was all calculated. The reason that I wanted to do it now is because we want to go surfing. It looks like it's honestly pumping right now. So yeah, surf takes priority over everything. You'll learn on Parlay, everything.
I may have given Pedro a heart attack, but I was pretty happy that we had made it to the resort
I'm so excited. It has been such a long time since our last surf.
and could actually relax for a couple of days. We would later find out from the resort that there is an easier way to get in, but hindsight's always 20/20. Anyway, thanks for watching and join us next week as we explore the area and make a shocking discovery on a nearby island which was littered with human skulls.
The hairs on my arms are just standing up. Like I feel scared to walk in there.
It's just very, very unusual to be seeing human skulls out displayed like this.